me today I've got Paul Gill, who is the senior producer on F1 2011, and Steve Hood, who's the chief game designer. They're going to talk you through where we're going with 2011, where we see our kind of future in F1 games. I think it's important to note that 2010 was a huge success for Codemasters, and really proved that Formula One games can be a big success that like they used to be. #1s across quite a lot of Europe, in Australia and India, and really bringing Formula One games back into the mainstream and showing that it is a franchise that can sell. And now it's about taking that forward and making it into a really strong yearly franchise with really strong improvements on each year. So hand over to the guys who are going to talk you through it.
Right, let's get started. So those of you who have listened to me and Steve last year would have heard us talk about be the driver, live the life. That was our internal mantra. That was the internal mantra. That was the internal mantra for the game. So be the driver's all the on-track stuff. Live the life was trying to make you feel like the F1 superstar, the career mode, all the things that made that cool. And this year you can see the brand new edition at the bottom, Go Compete. So we're improving very much on those opening two areas. But F1 2011 is all about the focus on multiplayer. So starting with Be the Driver.
So Be the Driver, at the core of the game, it is still a racing game. It doesn't matter how many features are added to the game, it is all about the Formula One experience, and it's about you being the driver. So the big thing that we've been working on as soon as we finished 2010 was trying to improve the handling. A lot of people were saying to us, the handling's fine, we love driving the cars, you don't need to improve that, spend your time on other things. But we know exactly where we want to be with the handling. At the end of the day, you're still on track for 90% of the time, you're still racing against the other cars. And what we wanted to be able to do is to replicate the things that the drivers are doing on TV. So here, for example, we would show you that we've worked on the suspension. The back of the car moves around coming out of the corner, so you have those hero oversteer moments. You can lock the brakes up, lock the tyres up into corners, and you get the smoke coming off. You couldn't have done all of these things in 2010. 2010 was a relatively simplistic experience in terms of the car handling compared to what we have now. You have these moments where you can get huge oversteer. They're not the best way to get the quickest lap times, but they do feel cool when you catch the car. You can now explore the limits. It's fun. So one of the other things that we really wanted to push again was improving the AI. A lot of people congratulated us last time in saying that you don't just have these simplistic drones out on the track now. The cars are aware of what you're trying to do. So in 2010, if you were trying to go up the inside and get a move on them, they would move over and block you. We're trying to expand that now so that the AI cars, your opponents, drive the same way that the player does. This is an example of what was happening in 2010, where we didn't quite get it right. They'd be braking or lifting off the throttle into corners, which meant the flow wasn't right. But in 2011, what's really important now, what's really key is the fact that you feel as though you're in a big race. You're actually chasing down the guy in front of you. You've got the race engineer saying we need to be doing a 1:23 to catch the guy ahead. Now they are able to compete at the same level as the player.
Cool, that brings us on to the cool new toys for this year, KERS and DRS. So KERS is effectively a turbo boost, DRS is stalling the rear wing to give you more speed. So just a couple of examples of these working in game and how they transform the gameplay. Is basically, you can feel very vulnerable now when you're defending. So you can see we're deploying the full battery use of KERS there, and that's the sort of speed advantage you're going to gain on someone. It's not significant, but it's enough to try and get alongside and get past. I think in China this year there was more overtaking in one race in Formula One than there was an entire season the year before, and it's mainly down to the tyres, KERS and the DRS. So this is a full batch of KERS, and the rear wings open now in the race as well, so you can see the speed differential there. I'm bouncing off the rev limit, you can see the rear wings open. All of these things that you see in real life are obviously playable in the game and simulated in the game as well. Enhanced damage and failures. The big improvement for damage and failures this time round is the fact that your car's vulnerable this year. You can really abuse your car if you're too aggressive over the curbs, you go into the gravel traps too often. Your real race engineer is going to feed back to you. He'll let you know that you're doing things wrong, and eventually you can develop engine failures, you can get stuck in gear, you can skip a gear, you can develop KERS faults and DRS faults that are rectified during the race itself. So the car feels very, very fragile, which is something we didn't have last year.
So feedback to the driver is really important as well in Formula One. We tried to give it a bit more of a TV feel as well. So you get these cutscenes into races or into sessions when you manage to overachieve or you hit your objective, or even when you fail, to make it feel a little more personal to you. We don't just want the text, we want you to feel what's going on inside the garage, so the team are responding to your success or failure. We have many a cutscene here. We've also got different things on the OSD now. You can see a little strategy window up there on the top right. This is quite important for the longer races, because Formula 1's not about just driving as quickly as you can over 3 laps. It's also about outthinking the guy ahead of you, looking after your fuel, looking after the tyres, all those things. If you want to add them to the experience, you can. Now we're giving you proper TV-like feedback on what's going on. You can also review all these incidents. You can see what everybody else has been doing in the race. So now, when you find Alonso might have finished last and you're wondering why, you can go into this race director and see what happened throughout the race. What was he doing in terms of lap times? What happened to him?
So heightened circuit fidelity is just our fancy way of saying with another years of development we've really been able to improve the visual look of the game. 2 new circuits this year. Nürburgring is the new one for Germany, which alternates year on year, and India is the brand new circuit. There are also extensive changes to Silverstone. Abu Dhabi is a full day to night transition for us this year, and we've really sort of maximised the amount of visual uplift that we've been able to get this year, and the game's looking much better for it. So that's just a sneak peek at some of the Be the Driver improvements. Moving on to Live the Life, really the career mode focus and some of the things to help you feel more involved. We've got Park Ferment. This is the kind of area of the game we've identified that you really feel at one with the team when the drivers come back. You finished in the top 3, you've done well. Different celebrations depending on how well you finished or if you've won a championship. You can see your garage crew cheering around you as well, and this is available in multiplayer. So for the top 3 guys who finish in multiplayer, you're going to see your character, your helmet design in those sequences, and everyone else is going to have to be forced to watch and improve their skills. And the press system as well in the career. So you can kind of, the interview mechanics from last year, it wasn't really obvious how that was impacting on the game board and how you were progressing as part of your career. So here's a question about my first win. When you transition to the next race, you see these series of press clippings that come on that tell you exactly how the F1 world's perceiving you. You see a reputation boost going up in your different driver ranks. So you start to feel the whole career mode much tighter together as a complete package. Which brings us nicely on to Go Compete, which is the big focus.
So Go Compete this year, 2010 was very much about the single player experience and getting that career and then get the first game out. But this now is about bringing loads of people together online. This is a big thing for us, and it's something that I think will be a huge success because we're already seeing it play out in the studio where people are using excuses to test things to just play a multiplayer game. That's when you know it's really working. So one of the big things for us this year was having a full grid online. If you remember last year we only had 12 cars. Now we've got 24 cars online, and in a typical multiplayer race that would be 16 players and 8 AI. We'll also have these things called multiplayer objectives, which is a similar element that we had last year in terms of the single player experience. If you're new to the game and you've got one of the slower cars, you're not expected to win in a multiplayer game. We're trying to keep people together, and those that are very, very good, who think they're going to win every race, well, they're expected to now, so you have these pressures put on top of you. We also have a massive new feature called Co-op Championship. This is something we wanted to put in racing games for a long time. It's been absent from most of them for years. And it's all about playing you and a friend throughout the season. So now your teammates, be teammates at Force India, teammates at McLaren or Red Bull, Mercedes, fighting through the practice sessions, trying to be the #1 driver, trying to get upgrades for your team, trying to get constructors title. That's never been of real interest to people before. But now as teammates you can fight for that. And of course only one of you can ever be the world champion. We've also got 2-player split screen. This is having a real resurgence lately and it's done phenomenally well in our recent title, Dirt 3. So we've added that to Formula 1 as well. And we've got a lot of people saying, I'd go around my friend's house, we can't really play Formula 1, we have to put another title on. Now you can play split screen. We also have Proving Grounds, which is a cool extension to the typical time attack style time trial. It's called Time Attack within Proving Grounds, and it's a locked scenario. It might be you're driving Ferrari or you're driving as a Mercedes driver around Nürburgring. You can't change the car setup, you can't change the tyres. It's about your performance versus your friends, and all the leaderboards are built around competition amongst your friends. We also have, for example, a leaderboard that lists your total times throughout all of them. So if you're not too brilliant on Monaco, but you think you're very good on Spa, you can get a bit more time on that and move up the leaderboard overall. And finally, the thing that I'm asked about on a daily basis, we do have the safety car after all. I'm often asked about that whenever I bump into anybody. Are you going to have the safety car? Are you going to have the safety car? We've had it in the build for a while. We have been keeping that little secret. We've been working on refining that. A lot of people have been asking whether or not it'd be possible to include it in 2011, so we're delighted to say yes, it is in. Getting a lot of positive feedback on that already, and it really does mix the races up. But we're only ever going to put these features in when we think we can do it justice for a variety of players.
Cool, so that's just a real high level overview. There's loads of other little bits and pieces which are rammed into the game as well. This is just a quick exclusive look at our video, which is going to be premiering next week. We've tried to replicate some of the key moments that happened in the real F1 season so far in game, and hopefully you'll get a pick of you out.